Hey Mercedes owners, it's horror movie time again. Today, we're continuing with the 2025 latest horror film, Hide and Seek in the Haunted House. The story takes place in a rural village where three kids are playing hide and seek. One little girl, desperate not to be found by her friends, ducks into an old mansion nearby. This old house is quite dilapidated and a little eerie. The floorboards go creak when you step on them, the kind of sound that just makes your skin crawl. However, our protagonist Sari is not afraid and even hides under the table. At this moment, the door closed mysteriously. Immediately after, Sari heard a burst of children's laughter, along with the sound of footsteps. Thinking others might be here, she followed the sound. Little girl noticed something resembling a human sitting upstairs. Since Sari is downstairs and can't see clearly what it is, she decides to go forward to take a closer look. The scene shifts to Sari's brother Raman. As darkness falls, Rahman calls out for his sister to come home for dinner, only to find she's nowhere around. Rahman can only mobilize his friends to search nearby. They used to play in this area often, so they quickly locate the old mansion. None of them imagined Sari would venture inside that old house though. Because they had heard that this house was haunted, they all kept their distance. At this moment, Sari woke up and found himself sitting in the living room. A woman approaches, introducing herself as Sheila, and softly invites Sari to eat something. However, Sari did not want to eat, but under Sheila's constant persuasion, Sari finally ate. Suddenly, a group of children appeared around her and ate with her. Sari is too young to sense anything sinister or threatening in her surroundings. From another perspective, they are eating some insects and rotting meat. A person mysteriously disappeared, and Rahman's family is extremely worried. They alert the police and get the whole village to search for Sari, but even after searching until 9 p.m., there was still no success. Seeing his mother's eyes swollen from crying, little Rahman could only comfort her, promising that he would definitely find his sister. Time slips by, and at 11 p.m., Raman is deep asleep when he's suddenly jolted awake by the sound of tapping on his window. Raman rushed after his sister, but when he got to the living room, she had vanished. He thought his younger sister was hiding and said, "Stop messing around and come out quickly." But his sister darted past him from behind. Rahman went back to check the area but couldn't find anything. Just as he was about to search somewhere else, he spotted a pair of legs swinging beneath the table. Raman rubbed his eyes, thinking he must still be half asleep and seeing things. But the next second, he discovered the sister was hiding behind the curtain. There was something about this act that was really creepy and made him really scared. He carefully walked forward, intending to pull his sister.
Sari udah seneng sama mama we.
This scared the hell out of Rahman, but he couldn't help wondering what kind of creature this Sheila was, being able to turn Sari into a ghost. The next day, during class, Rahman snuck online to research the old mansion. Records show that several children have gone missing near the old mansion, and there is even a photo of a fat woman holding a child. Turning back, Rahman called his friend to get ready to search the old villa. His gut feeling told him Sari was in there. Tagging along was Aldi, the mastermind behind that hide-and-seek incident. The gang skillfully picked the lock, and as they stepped inside, a horrible stench hit them right in the face. Vines growing from the ceiling cranked up the creepy atmosphere to the max. The group cautiously felt their way through the house. A human-shaped white cloth caught their attention. Rahman mustered up his courage to go check it out, wondering what on earth could be hidden beneath the white cloth. It's just a uniquely designed chandelier. Right then, Sari's figure darted past. Aldi followed her direction, while Rahman found a photograph on the table, a family portrait of 5 people looking incredibly happy together. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from upstairs. Thinking his sister was playing hide-and-seek with him again, he headed up to the second floor. Sari's figure flashed by, giving him no time to think as he hurried after her. But Aldi said the boy had been upstairs the whole time and did not see Sari. Without realizing it, they'd made a deadly mistake. The 4 friends had split into 3 separate paths. Meanwhile, Rinto also caught sight of Sari, but she seemed to be leading him somewhere. What Rinto didn't expect was a hand quietly closing the door behind him, sealing off his escape route. Entering another room, Rinto felt an eerie presence all around him. When he tried to leave, the door wouldn't budge no matter how hard he tried. Outside, Masayu heard the commotion from within, but she too couldn't open the door, with just one room separating them. At this moment, Rinto finally felt afraid. As he looked back, he saw that the stone door, which had been closed, was now eerily open. It was just a little mouse, and he instantly breathed a sigh of relief. A hey. And just like that, he passed out from fear. A teasing voice reached Masayu's ears, and seeing it was a child, she decided to go over and see what was happening. But unexpectedly, that thing suddenly grew into an 8-foot tall adult, and after controlling Masayu for 2 seconds, she finally decided to escape. No surprise, the door was locked again. Just then, a pair of hands slowly approached her from behind. The scene shifts, and Rahman and his friend arrive at a room. Judging by the layout, this should be a bedroom. The two found a kerosene lamp and matches in the box, and after lighting them, a diary caught their attention. My father always beat us when he was angry. It was a difficult time for my family. At this moment, Sari's voice once again came from nearby. But suddenly, the old house, which had stood for many years, collapsed. Under Rahman's gaze, Aldi was dragged into the darkness by something. But when he chased out, he found nothing. Strangely, Sari's voice came from inside the house. But at that moment, his mother was right behind her. Her eerie smile sent shivers down one's spine. What confuses him most is that his sister now looks at him like a stranger. When he turned around to look, the mother standing right behind Sari had transformed into Sheila, leaving Raman frozen in fear.
Di belakang kamu itu.
Then the door slams shut violently. On the other side, Rinto finally regains consciousness. His most urgent priority is to escape from this place, but just at that moment, a group of children crawled out from the cabinet, making teasing sounds. Just as the children were about to approach Rinto, the door lock miraculously opened, allowing him to successfully reunite with Masayu. The scene shifts, and Raman opens the door to find that Sheila and Sari have both disappeared. At the same time, heavy footsteps are heard from above, suggesting a weight of at least 200 pounds. Following the sound, he quietly sneaks into a room, only to be rendered speechless by the shocking scene before him. He and the monster suddenly met in a corner of the house. In the monster's arms was holding the baby Aldi. Peeking cautiously from the corner, he doesn't dare to breathe even a little bit. The monster opened its giant jaws and swallowed Aldi despite the boy's screams of pain. This scene can be described as very frightening, but when he was about to run away, the monster disappeared again. Oh, no way, man. The monster's sudden appearance startled Rahman, making him fall down the stairs and get seriously injured. Fortunately, the scattered group finally reunited, giving the frightened people a little sense of security. They decide to search one last room, agreeing that if they don't find Sari, they'll seek outside help. Speak of the devil, Sari's figure flashes by again. However, this time the group didn't chase after them, but prepared to leave to find help. Suddenly, a black robe floats up before their eyes, then slowly descends as Sheila and her child materialize before the three. Seeing the situation, Rahman unexpectedly asked for his sister, thinking it was nonsense. But surprisingly, Sheila actually brought out Sari. However, what puzzled Rahmani was that Sari was unwilling to go home with him, as if she and Sheila were family. Rahman becomes increasingly agitated, almost charging forward until Rinto restrains him, explaining that it is just Sari's spirit. Looking at the situation, it's clearly unrealistic to take little Sari away now. But after thinking it over, Raman starts taunting Sheila. This isn't even your real face. Would you dare let the child see how ugly you really are? Upon hearing these cruel words, Sheila reacts violently, her composure shattering in an instant. After a puff of white smoke, she reveals her true form. She doesn't look remotely human anymore. Raman grabs a chair and hurls it at the monster, but it hits what seems like an invisible barrier between them. Rinto knows it's his turn to act. The moment his dagger strikes the monster, a stream of what looks like ketchup freezes in midair, then quickly forms a ball and floats directly into Rinto's mouth. Rinto felt a heart-wrenching pain. With a large amount of ketchup spewing out, he collapsed to the ground and lost consciousness again. Because Rahman said she was an ugly monster, the creature lifted him up high and slammed him down on the floor. The thick fog surrounding them triggers a flood of memories. We see that Sheila once had a happy family, but her husband was a fisherman who spent days at sea, weathering harsh conditions to provide a better life for their child. He'd been away for months, yet somehow Sheila was pregnant with their fourth child. She had clearly been unfaithful. She meant to explain herself, but got slapped hard across the face instead. Sheila looks pitiful and wounded. She said, "Well, let's ignore the truth. Aren't you also at fault?" As a result, she received a big slap, ×2. After that, her husband subjected her to constant abuse, unmoved even by their children's pleas to stop. Finally, he grabbed a kettle of boiling water from the table and poured it over Sheila's face without hesitation. Since then, the husband has left the family. Not long after, the children collapsed one by one at the dinner table. It seems Sheila was the unfaithful one all along, or why else would she harm her own kids? Just as she was about to finish her glass of wine, preparing to take her children to God in pain, a figure suddenly appeared in the room. Without a doubt, it was that monster. Before the monster could speak, Sheila spoke first, saying, "I am willing to offer my life and my child's life to you, so that my resentment may live on forever." It turns out, after all this, that she was the one who had an affair. She even drugged and took a... The house was then put up for sale, but the neighbors knew about the scandal, so no one wanted to buy it. The house gradually fell into disrepair until now, with only Sheila and her 3 children inside. After the flashback ended, the 3 of them woke up. Just as they were preparing to leave, counting sounds echoed from somewhere. Clearly, Sheila wanted to play hide-and-seek with them. As the countdown finished, a 100-meter-long tongue shot out beside Masayu, wrapping around her and suspending her in midair. She cried, "Help me." No matter how her companions pulled, it was useless. Seeing there was no other way, Raman spoke heartfelt words to the air, saying something along the lines of how he would never ignore Sari again if they were to reunite. He was always indifferent to his sister, and even their mother neglected little girl because of work. Living in a single-parent family, Sari already lacked affection. During a game of hide-and-seek, Rahman was there but chose to play with the goddess instead, ignoring Sari again. This led Sari to go to the ancient house behind them. Now Raman realized his mistake, and while searching for Sari's mother outside, she also promised to take care of and love Sari more in the future. Somehow, these words reached the monster's mind, and when Raman looked back, he saw that the monster seemed to be in great pain. Then, Sari vividly and animatedly emerged from the monster's stomach. Rahman hurriedly went to hold his sister, while Masayu was also let down. At this moment, their friend Rinto saw through everything and said, "We know you feed on our fears, but we are not afraid of you." Wow, people who wear glasses really are cultured. After these words, fur began growing all over the monster's body until, before everyone's eyes, it crumbled into piles of ash and vanished into thin air. By the end of the story, they successfully rescued Sari too, and the mansion doors finally opened for them. Now you're probably wondering, what about Aldi? Where did Aldi go? It turns out that Aldi often suffered domestic violence from his father, and the scars on his back showed his disappointment with his family. So he voluntarily chose to stay here. This story teaches us to care more about family members, and definitely keep a close eye on the children. One day the two of them started playing hide and seek, but this time, Raman noticed a skeleton scattered near the refrigerator, and his sister was right behind it. With that chilling image, the film ends.